Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Vinay Chak, the founder of 4 Minute Mile, a marketing and consulting firm. Uh, Vinay has attended Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar, for his MBA. Vinay had worked for 15 years with companies such as Dr. Reddy's Labs, Reliance Infocom, and HSBC before starting his own venture in 2012. Hi, Vinay. Welcome to ELI.
Hi, Priya. I'm so honored and pleased to be here. So thank you so much.
Vinay, I'd request you to introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Yeah. So hi. So Priya, like you said, my name is Vinay. Uh, I started the entrepreneurship journey, in 2012. It seems almost like ages ago. Though it was only around 8 years back. That being said, my wife is also a professional. She also works. I've got two children, uh, 14 years and 10 years. And I've worked, in my professional career, I've worked with Dr. Reddy's Labs. I've worked with Island FS. Uh, I was with Reliance Infocom when the service really started way back in 2003. And yeah, I spent the last 4 years, the last few years of my corporate career actually at HSBC, where I was there for almost 8.5 to 9 years. Uh, but I would say once I started my entrepreneurship journey, that was an absolutely whole new experience. So yeah, absolutely. You have to unlearn so many things,
Hmm.
and learn so many things. And, it's been an absolutely amazing ride till now. Yeah. So that's what I'd say about myself.
What is 4 minute mile? I searched a 4 minute mile on Google and I found a movie with the same name. Is there a connection because your company and the movie were released in the same time frame also?
So I no, so actually no, there's no connection with the movie, but I'll tell you why I called it 4 Minute Mile. So when I was starting the company, uh, I had actually thought of calling it Alliance Magic.
Okay.
And why Alliance Magic is because I thought we will specialize only in alliances
Hmm.
at the starting. And when I mean alliances, I mean, as even my profile at HSBC was actually heading alliances, which meant that, when you swipe your credit card and you get, let's say, a 10% off at a Pizza Hut or a Domino's or any of these kind of restaurants, that in a simple place is an alliance. So initially, I thought I'd specialize in doing that for a host of companies across India. So I had thought of, of calling it Alliance Magic. And
Okay.
then a friend of mine told me that, you may not do alliances all your life. Why do you want to be stuck with a name which is so specific to alliances?
Hmm.
And so that got me thinking. And the other thing he told me was, think of Apple, Yahoo, Google. He said, what do these companies really mean? So that actually got me really thinking that I really need to think in a name that inspires me. And for me, it denotes excellence. So I was saying that, because I'm starting the company, at least it should be an inspiration point for me every time I think of that name.
Hmm.
So I had heard the story of Roger Bannister.
Okay.
So Roger Bannister was the first man to run a mile in under 4 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so until he broke the 4 minute mile record,
Hmm.
n- no one had ever broken. Had ever broken it. And the beauty of his feat was that he was an amateur. He
Hmm.
was studying in Oxford, and he broke the record in 1954. So if you ever go to my website, which is 4mm.co.in, you will see that the video of his achievement is actually there.
Hmm.
So the beauty of his achievement was because, so what was so special about the 4 minute mile? Because eventually records are meant to be broken.
Hmm.
What was so special about this achievement was that, everybody thought this can't be broken.
Hmm.
Everybody had come close, but nobody had broken it.
Okay.
And in fact, during that time, the doctors and people had called it I mean, what do you say, the impossible dream, jaise hota hai.
Hmm.
And they said that if you attempt it, you could injure yourself, you may have a heart attack. It's not, it's not easy to do.
Hmm.
But here was the guy who broke it.
Okay.
And the beauty of his achievement was that the minute he broke it, there was a gentleman by the name of John Landy who broke it after 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And in the next 3 years, 16 people broke that record. So
Okay.
imagine a record not broken for centuries.
Hmm.
Suddenly everyone was breaking it.
Hmm.
So the significance of the record is that the barriers are only in your mind. You need someone to show you the way. And, so that was the beauty of this message, that Roger Bannister showed everyone the way, that, and nothing is impossible. And so I loved everything which went with that. The fact that he really believed it could happen. He
Hmm.
worked really hard. Even the race, which is there when he broke it, he was working with his friends. His friends were also great runners, so they were actually pacing him during the entire race. So the whole aspect of teamwork as well. So if you see, all the values I wanted in my company, that we can do anything, if we are able to put our mind to it, we will do innovative stuff, we will work hard, we will work diligently, we will persevere, and we will do it with great teamwork. I think all those values came so strongly in that story, and it really inspired me. So that's why I called it 4 Minute Mile.
It's beautiful. The concept is really awesome. Um, Vinay, tell us what are the things you do at your company? What are the different functions it plays? What are the values it provides to customers?
Okay. So let me put it this way. We have figured out a niche area in the marketing domain
Hmm.
in where we can make a real difference.
Okay.
So of course we do a lot of stuff which a lot of other companies do, but what really makes us stand out in the marketing domain is, so we are positioned as a marketing solutions company. We're not like positioning ourselves as something very specific, but we are positioned as a marketing solutions company, which means you have a marketing challenge, we will help you find a solution.
Okay.
Whether it has to do with technology, whether it has to do with with anything else in the system. But
Hmm.
however, our core mantra is to run your campaigns at a fraction of the cost. So let me go and give you an example.
Hmm.
Let's say if you are a marketing company
Hmm.
and you come to us and you say, how do I drive my sales more? Right? We will help you create a solution which will be at a fraction of the cost. This is in a way where we take the risk. So let me give you another way of putting the same question.
Hmm.
Let's say, for example, you went to the market and you went to buy a shirt.
Hmm.
Let's say the shirt cost for 2,000 rupees.
Okay.
We will tell you that with that shirt, allow us to, you should also give a movie ticket voucher
Hmm.
worth 500,
Okay.
right? So now what happens is when the customer goes to buy that shirt, suddenly he sees I have a 500 rupee movie voucher also available with me.
Hmm.
So he may be more tempted to buy that shirt.
Hmm.
Now, the beauty of what we do is we may have gone and provided you that 500 rupee movie voucher at maybe 100 rupees or 80 rupees.
Okay.
Okay. And that is where we specialize.
Hmm.
And what is unique about it is not that we have gone and negotiated in bulk.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, the speciality of what we do is that we understand in the market this concept of breakage, which means that if I give 100 people a free experience,
Hmm.
and even in your case, you would have seen, you would have got so many things where people would have given you a free voucher,
Hmm.
but you never went to the market and used it.
Okay. Right.
So what happens is I know that if 100 people in the market are given something free,
Hmm.
I know exactly how many people will use it. And based on that, I price my product. So if I know that if I give you a free movie and let's say only 30% of the people will use that,
Hmm.
I may price the product to you, at 40 rupees, assuming a 10% margin for myself. And
Okay.
it's a risk-based pricing. So it's like your insurance premium.
Hmm.
You know that everyone is not going to fall ill. That's why the insurance companies charges you a fraction on the premium. However, if more people fall ill,
Hmm.
they will make a loss.
Hmm.
So similarly, in the same case, if more people actually use the free service we are providing, we will end up making a loss. But
Okay.
otherwise, we have a very clear idea of what the redemption metrics are there on every free thing that we provide,
Hmm.
and that's why companies reach out to us. So
Hmm.
for an FMCG company, I could give something free for as low as 50 paise or 1 rupee,
Okay.
and for, let's say, an automobile company, I could give something free for as high as 5,000 rupees.
Okay.
But when they charge me 5,000,
Hmm.
I will give them something worth around 10,000 or 15,000 back. So
Hmm.
that's how it is.
I think this is an interesting concept you are working on. So what I feel is at the core of it, it is the skill set of forming alliances between brands. Uh, can you give us some examples, like what are the some of the best campaigns, best alliances you have formed, which viewers maybe already be aware of?
Yeah. Okay. Can I just take a second just to
Sure,
blow
sure.
my nose?
Yeah.
So sorry about that, Priya. Just a bit of a cold. Yeah, I'm okay to go. So
Uh,
Priya, have you started?
so my question is, can you give some examples where you have executed some of the famous campaigns between two brands?
So actually, there are a lot of examples. Let me give you an examples, some examples which are kind of live in the market.
Hmm.
For example, right now we have a campaign live in the market with Pringles.
Okay.
Okay, so Pringles has a special pack they have created
Hmm.
where if you buy 3 packs together, so
Okay.
each pack is for 100 rupees. You know those cans which come,
Yeah,
those
yeah. I have bought.
tins of Pringles.
Hmm.
So if you buy three tins of Pringles together,
Hmm.
the value for those 3 tins together is actually 300 rupees.
Right.
But with that, you can choose. We have given a voucher which entitles you either to a free Uber ride up to 250 rupees
Hmm.
or a free Domino's voucher up to 250 rupees. Now
Okay.
you can see that. Imagine if on buying something worth 300, you get something worth 250. If I had
Hmm.
charged the client face value of those vouchers, there's no way they would have done the deal. So obviously, I'm doing that deal at a fraction of the cost, which works for them. So here I've got a Pringles, and you can choose either a Domino's voucher or an Uber voucher. So that's one kind of a tie-up which would be there in the market.
Hmm.
Let me also give another example of a tie-up we did earlier in the year. Starting on 1st Jan,
Hmm.
we had done a tie-up with Kellogg's.
Okay.
Uh, this is and the Kellogg's cornflakes and stuff like that.
Hmm. Right.
So we did a tie-up where they wanted to increase their sales on the website bigbasket.com.
Okay.
And so what we did is that and we wanted to start the campaign on 1st of Jan. So
Hmm.
we said, that is the time when people are making New Year resolutions,
Right.
right? So everyone says, I want to be fit, this year I'm going to lose all the weight and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So we launched a campaign on 1st Jan
Okay.
that if you buy, any product
Hmm.
of the cornflakes of Kellogg's on
Hmm.
a big basket for the next 1.5 months,
Hmm.
okay, from 1st Jan till 15th Feb, you will get a free 7-day pass to any of the cult fits in the country.
Oh,
So cult fit is the fitness training, and this was the pre-COVID. I'm
right.
talking about
Yeah.
January.
Yeah.
So of course, you're buying a cornflakes ka product, which is maybe
Hmm.
let's say around 100 rupees.
Hmm.
But we enabled a service to you which was worth 1,200 rupees, a 7-day free pass to a cult fit.
Right.
So, that is our speciality, that how do you create something both which kind of goes and benefits a cult fit,
Hmm.
but can go and also go and benefit, let's say Kellogg's.
Hmm.
So, so these are the kind of, so I've just tried to give you a flavor of two such campaigns.
Right.
Otherwise, we work across industries. So I gave you two FMCG examples.
Hmm.
Let me give you, let's say, an automobile example.
Okay.
Uh, we had done a campaign last year with Maruti.
Hmm.
It wanted to drive the test drives
Hmm.
of this car called the Ignis.
Hmm.
So Ignis was a new hatchback they had, and they
Okay.
wanted to push a test drives, because obviously if you can you can kind of push more test drives, your sales go up.
Hmm.
So what we did is we said that with every test drive you take, you will get a couple movie voucher for free. So
Okay.
two people can go watch a movie in any theater of their choice
Hmm.
across the country.
Hmm.
And again, we did it for a fraction of the cost. So the
Okay.
whole idea was, that people like to do test drives on weekends.
Hmm.
So it becomes like a family outing. You come for a test drive and you get a free movie ticket as well.
Right.
And you can see a movie of your choice. So, those kind of campaigns is where we specialize in and we create. And we know what is it that the budget of the client is. And accordingly, we will go and give them a solution,
Hmm.
you know.
I think these are very lovely examples of marketing genius. Would like to know what is the logistic that happens on the hindsight. What happens in the background when you when you approach Kellogg's or just any brand that that is in lookout for something similar, and you propose them a solution. But there has to be another brand. Who would co-brand with them or do a joint campaign. How
Yes.
does it look like in the
So there are two ways to do it. One, because we are in the alliances space, and that I said that we have actually partnerships with over 3,000 brands. As a result of that, we are one of the few companies which are aware of what any brand wants. So
hmm,
what will happen is that sometimes, let's say, a brand like, let's say, a Pepsi may approach us and say, I need to do a sampling.
hmm,
Do you know any other brand which is interested? I may be talking to P&G, or I may be talking to Kohinoor. I may be talking to other brands. I know exactly what is available with each of those brands.
hmm,
So what happens is, because my team is speaking to so many brands at all times, a
hmm.
lot of requests are already parked with us. So
Okay.
we know that when some brand is looking for something, we automatically know, acha, we can plug this brand there. So that is one way of doing that. That's a way where I know what each brand is looking for. And as soon as an opportunity arises,
Hmm,
I know where to go and pitch this idea, which is the other brand I can go and pitch this idea to. So
hmm,
that is one way of doing it.
hmm,
Another more simpler way of doing this is,
hmm.
sometimes I don't need to do a co-branding.
Okay.
Sometimes I just know that a lot of brands have their products available in the open market.
Hmm,
So for example, I know that for Domino's, I need not do a tie-up.
hmm,
I know that I can buy a gift voucher of Domino's in the market, which is available for 100 rupees or 200 rupees or 500 rupees. They're already available.
hmm.
So sometimes I will just go and buy the gift vouchers of the product, and
Okay.
I don't need to do a tie-up. I can just enable by buying the gift vouchers in the open market.
Hmm. Right.
So there are ways how we can go and construct a tie-up. Uh,
Hmm.
and the beauty is that the majority of our tie-ups are helped because we have our own digital platform. So
Okay.
what happens is, let's say you bought a packet of Pringles and
Hmm.
you got this voucher where you want to take either, a Domino's or an Uber voucher.
Okay.
On the voucher, there will be a website mentioned
Hmm.
with a unique code. So what happens is that typically you have to log into our website with
Okay.
that unique code, and you have to register yourself. You will
Hmm.
have to say my name, the email, and the mobile number.
Hmm.
And then what happens is you will then be led to a page where you will be able to get the actual code. So
Hmm.
there you will see either you want an Uber code or you want a Domino's code, and that will be actually sent across to you on your mobile.
Okay.
So most of our campaigns are digitally enabled. So
Hmm.
what happens is that in that way it can be instantaneous. The guy
Okay.
has got the voucher, has logged on to our site,
Hmm.
the code has come on the mobile, and that's it. They can go use it. So
Hmm.
it's also very easy, simple. There's not a lot of, a time lag that I have to wait for 15 days or 10 days till something gets kind of sent to me by mail or whatever.
Hmm.
So the beauty is we are able to do a lot of these enablements over the mobile as well,
Hmm.
which helps. which is able to help the consumer.
Right. I think also you are building a platform which is going to be a common platform for all the brands in coming days. They can just log in and co-brand with each other. I think that is a very interesting thing you are building. Vinay will now get into the personal side of being an entrepreneur. I would like to know, how did you come up with this idea of starting on your own? Um, what triggered it?
So actually, I'd been in a corporate job for almost, for 15 years. So I quit after 15 years and started the firm. And somehow, I don't know whether it was a midlife crisis or whichever, I somehow felt that I wasn't getting the satisfaction I wanted from the corporate world. Whether it was the kind of work I wanted to do, or, it just wasn't feeling that. Uh, I didn't feel that I was suited for the corporate world, honestly. I would say that to some extent, I was not made for the corporate world. I don't want to sound kind of a negative, but you have the politics and you have all these other things which actually happen in the corporate side of things. And for me, I just felt that it's not something I've been able to master. Because eventually to succeed in any sphere, you need to understand that and be able to do well, because that's what it is. And somehow I felt that's not something I was able to master so well. So I always felt this thing that, yeah,
Hmm.
what am I doing in life? And so that's why it started to sow the seed, yeah, that maybe I should do something on my own. Maybe, let me at least kind of try it. And when I was around 39, that's when I was, I said, yeah, if I don't do anything now, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it. And so, so with that, I said, let's take a clean break. Let me now just, I mean, if I have to do something, I have to do it now. And I'll be honest, I started off, it wasn't that I had a great idea in mind.
Hmm.
Okay, Priya, it wasn't that I had, boss, this is the magic idea.
Okay.
I initially wanted to start off doing something else.
Hmm.
I initially felt that, that maybe, and though I felt my idea was great, I felt that, जैसे there is an Amazon which services needs for, B2C customers like us, and you
Hmm.
get amazing rate. I
Hmm.
said, what if you have a platform like this for B2B,
Hmm.
where, let's say, uh, a company wants to buy 30 iPhones, either for its employees or for a promotion.
Hmm.
Maybe I could find another 20 other such companies, and we go to Apple and say that, I've got an order of 200 phones, you give me a discount.
Hmm.
I had a very, let's say, innocent view of how things work, and I said I could do something on the B2B side.
Right.
But I was very, excited about the idea.
Hmm.
And I said, okay, let me go do it. And so, one of the things I did was, I think I had a lot of self belief.
Okay.
So, even though that idea I realized very quickly is not going to go anywhere, I was clear that I could pivot on to something else. And I got very, very lucky as well, that I found there was a gentleman by the name of IC, Indranil Chakravarti. He, at that same time when I was quitting,
Hmm.
was was also looking to hire somebody in alliances.
Right.
So and he used to be the marketing head of Club Mahindra.
Hmm.
So while I was quitting for this whole, this idea I had told you about, that I wanted to create a B2B for Amazon, I went to meet him for an interview,
Hmm.
and he told me that we need an alliances head for Club Mahindra at that time.
Hmm.
And I told him, and it suddenly struck me, and I requested him. I said, actually, I've decided to go on my own. Would
Hmm.
it be okay if you did not take an employee,
Hmm.
but I worked with you maybe as a consultant or as my own company, and I would give you the same thing which you want, but not as your employee, but as somebody from the outside, has having his own company like a consulting firm. And he said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. I'm more focused on the work that gets done. rather than whether you're on my in my company or you're working externally independently on your own.
Okay.
And so that was amazing for me. So what happened is that actually started the entrepreneurial journey in a way where I managed to get a client who paid me a retainer,
Hmm.
and that's how it started. So because then I found in a way a business model around alliances,
Okay.
that's where I went. And that's where then, my trajectory kind of took me, we kept on pivoting
Hmm.
basis what we felt the market really wanted versus what I thought in my head I would make a difference in. We kept going and pivoting to where there was a need in the market. And I think that's essentially how I reached where I reached. But I think the driving force for me was also the self-belief, because I know for a fact that if I didn't have that self belief, and I surprise myself, because like a lot of times when you do these things, you don't, these are all terms you think of, but
Hmm.
it's real because when things are not working and when you need to pivot, the only thing that works for you is your self belief,
Right.
because that's what allows you to. Otherwise, the easy thing would be to go back to doing another job, saying,
Hmm.
yeah, this is not working for me, let me go back. But
Right.
I think that was a great amount of pivot. And of course, my wife and the family was another great support. My wife has been, was working, and so that was always a fallback option, and she was absolutely supportive, right? So if I didn't have her support, I wouldn't have got half the confidence I have. So yeah, so that's also true.
When we are almost up with the time, I have very few questions left.
Yeah.
One question is, what is your vision?
So that's very interesting. My vision is actually to be the largest player in the alliances space in India and also globally. So in fact, I'm also looking at options in what I can do. I've been talking to my colleagues to see, my friends from XIMB who are based in Singapore and such markets, saying, can I create, an office there? Because I believe that what we've been able to create in India
Hmm.
in the alliances space is how to work with small budgets and to magnify them. I believe that should work in the rest of the world as well.
Okay.
So one, I certainly want to be the largest player in India. I
Hmm.
mean, that is absolutely a dream and a vision.
Hmm.
And I want to see how I can take this abroad, and globally as well. Because I believe we have a unique sweet spot which work in any market.
Right. What are the challenges you faced along the way while building this venture?
So lots of challenges, yeah, because what happens is when the first thing is right, when you start on your own,
Hmm.
you are actually a nobody,
Okay.
so essentially you're starting right from zero.
Hmm.
So number one, you have to drop your ego. You have to go back and approach people who were maybe 10 years your junior,
Hmm.
and you have to wait in the office for them to give you time, things
Okay.
like that. But I think what really worked for me, the first few brands which we signed on were the toughest.
Okay.
And what I realized is also the big switch when you make from the corporate world to the entrepreneurship world. That is, the buck stops with me. So when I am going and making my first few pitches, you
Hmm.
realize people are not actually betting on your company. They are betting on you.
Okay.
They're taking a punt on you. I mean, you are their face.
Hmm.
Your credibility matters.
Hmm.
And so I'm very, very grateful to the first few people. There was Swami from Hansa Security. As I said, there was IC in Club Mahindra. These
Hmm.
are all guys who took a punt on me.
Okay.
And what happens, so because they were, they didn't know anything else which I could do. They just had a belief that I could do it.
Hmm.
And so today it's great when you work with all the top brands. Then it's not anymore about me. It's about the work you have already done that speaks for yourself. But
Right.
starting out, nobody,
Hmm.
nobody knows you. They don't know what you can do, what you're. So you really, really have to push hard. You have to accept that so many times you feel a business is about to land in your lap, and
Hmm.
it doesn't happen.
Hmm.
And I remember I used to have such kind of tough times that, after my first deal, it was almost a year till I closed the second deal.
Oh.
And I used, so that was the gap between when I closed, let's say, a Club Mahindra, and when I got my second deal in Hansa's Equity was around 11 months. Okay. And I remember I used to have these tough moments. And, that's when the family comes forward, right? My wife used to always tell me, it's okay, right? Look at the positives. How many people did you know as of yesterday?
Hmm.
Okay. And how many people do you know today? Because of, how many people know you today?
Hmm.
And I used to take so much heart from that because, always focus, because even when you're feeling down, there are things you are doing right, and that is helping me, honestly, Priya, even today. I have had no business practically for 4 months thanks to COVID. Because what has happened is suddenly everyone's, their budgets have gone
Yeah.
haywire,
Right. Yeah.
right? But I've already hired two people. I'm about to hire one more. So
Hmm.
what I told myself is that, when things are down, look to do stuff, that will take you forward.
Okay.
And so, the learnings I've had early in when I was doing my entrepreneurship is what I'm trying to do even now.
Hmm.
Because I keep saying to myself, if the only thing which can drive me more business is getting more sales hands on board. Because the more people the more people will know how many opportunities are out there. Because there are so many companies. You
Hmm.
need more hands on the deck to reach out to all those companies,
Right.
right? So that's what I'm investing in, and I'm hoping to get out of this entire pandemic situation.
Who's your role model when it comes to entrepreneurship?
So I don't, honestly, I don't have a specific role model, but I loved Steve Jobs. I read his autobiography. I read everything about him,
Hmm.
and I keep taking inspiration from people all the time. So, for example, yesterday, on Netflix, I saw The Last Dance, which is
Hmm.
actually a series, a documentary created on Michael Jordan.
Okay.
So I love, I take inspiration from people. Uh, Somebody like even a Priyanka Chopra, okay, she
Hmm.
inspires me.
Okay.
Because of how you go beyond yourself, how, the barriers in your mind you break to do certain things. It's just amazing. So actually, I take inspiration from a lot of people. Suddenly I may see somebody on the road and I've seen how they've grown, and I'll take inspiration from them.
Hmm.
So, I'm constant. So I see a lot of documentaries for that matter, So like I said, while of course in the business side, I love the Steve Jobs and what he created and the vision.
Hmm.
But, I may take inspiration from much smaller entrepreneurs as well. I may meet along the way and just get inspired by something or the other they do, you
Hmm.
know. And yeah, your normal celebs also sometimes inspire me for different reasons,
Hmm.
you know. That's how
Speaking
it
of
is.
documentaries, what are the top five documentaries you'd recommend every entrepreneur to watch?
So I don't recommend any. So I don't watch entrepreneurial kind of documentaries per se. I may watch on World War II. I may
Okay.
watch on the serial. So I am a documentary freak. I love
Hmm.
watching all kinds of things. But
Okay.
that being said, as an entrepreneur, I think I loved reading the autobiography of Steve Jobs.
Okay.
So anything which I think I also saw the movie of McDonald's, which was also pretty
The found.
interesting,
Yeah.
where a gentleman after the age of 50 or
Hmm. Hmm.
60, I think he creates, a company all for himself.
Right.
It's an amazing, right? It's the trait you see in people, right? It's got nothing to do with age. It's
Hmm.
got to do with, I can make a difference, I don't want to give up, and just going out there and making it happen. I think any of those things are amazing, honestly.
Hmm. Uh, how do you compare a 9 to 5 job with entrepreneurship?
Oh, wow, that's a very nice one. So, entrepreneurship is, I am always plugged in. It's a 24-hour job.
Hmm.
Okay. So I make it a point to try to switch off. Honestly, I can't, but I do. But the beauty of entrepreneurship is that even though I'm already always kind of plugged in, I'm enjoying it.
Hmm.
One of the things I think, Priya, is you need to love the process.
Okay.
If you don't love the process, it can really be bad for your health.
Hmm.
Because it's always on. I'm always thinking of a new idea. I'm always thinking, yaar, ye problem aaya, iska kya solution hai. Something in my mind is always working. you know. But I would say that's a good way. In a, in a 9 to 5, the joke in my office is that, when I was doing jobs, I used to wait for the next holiday. Yeah,
Hmm.
when can I go on my next trip? When can I take my next holiday? When is the next 3 day weekend? अभी क्या होता है, every time I know a holiday is coming, I say, oh shit, अभी फिर से छुट्टी आने वाली है, फिर से काम नहीं हो पाएगा. It's just a very, what do I say, a 180-degree switch in the way I think. I hate holidays now. So I do take breaks. I've always made it a point to go out on breaks because I know I need to switch off.
Hmm.
But just the fact that I'm so switched on, I want this work to complete now rather than after 3 days. Yeah. So in that context, I hate holidays. Yeah.
Okay. W- I just have only one question left. That is, how do you suggest our audience to start their journey as entrepreneurs? Let me tell you a bit about our audience. The students
Yeah.
or young people who have big dreams to start something of their own. How do you suggest them get started?
So I would suggest one, dream a lot, dream big. I think the bigger you dream, the bigger is the ambition you can achieve. There
Hmm.
is no doubt on that. I think so. One, they should actually go and dream big. And especially for young people, I would say this: just start on whatever you want to do. Because while everybody says that there is no right time to get
Hmm.
into entrepreneurship, every time is right. I would say that the time when you are the youngest,
Hmm.
okay, is probably the best time to, because it's so much easier to fail then. I don't always say, so failure is always fine.
Hmm.
But from my perspective, I would look at that, if you've got your parents' income to support you, or you've got stuff, imagine if you're failing then. You're trying out and you're failing. It's fine. You can still stand up much faster.
Hmm.
Because what happens is it becomes that much more tougher as new phases in your life come. The minute you get married, the minute you have children, your
Hmm.
responsibilities grow.
Hmm.
So what I did, of course, I feel extremely proud of myself that I quit even though I had responsibilities and stuff. But also my backup was my wife was working, so I
Hmm.
needed that kind of a support. So my sense is that had I done this, let's say 10, 15 years earlier,
Hmm.
it's amazing because the learnings I had at the age of 40, you would start having at the age of 20 or 23 or 24.
Okay.
And my take is always that it's great because the kind of learnings you get with every failure is absolutely fantastic. And the earlier you start on that, you
Hmm.
will hone your skills as you go older and you will succeed. I mean, there is no doubt. So that is my advice here.
Okay. Uh, it was a pleasure to host you here at ELI. I think our audience would have got lifetime lessons. Thank you for your time, Vinay, and our best wishes for 4 Minute Mile.
Thank you so much, Priya. This was so exciting for me as well to relive, what I've gone through. And yeah, I love it. I mean, I would be very happy if anybody gets inspired, if anybody wants to reach out, absolutely great. So wish you all the best as well, yeah, Priya, with ELI. It's absolutely a wonderful initiative that you're doing.
Hmm.
And you're so easy to talk to, yeah. So thank you so much. I love speaking to you, yeah. That's a great skill set you have, yeah, that you're able to get so much out of the person you're talking with.
Thank
So
you.
wish you all the best, yeah. And thank you so much for this.
Viewers, you can connect with Vinay on LinkedIn by searching for Vinay Chak. Also, do visit their website by typing 4mm.coin. So, whom do you want to have here at ELI for next episode? Do let me know in comments below. We will be back before you know it. Stay tuned to Entrepreneur Launch of India.